Chapter 601. None. Personally, Zhang Wenjuang had never been concerned with Fang Weifeng in the least bit. The only reason he was here this time around was that it was an order from his big senior brother. As to why his big senior brother would be keen on helping this piece of trash here, Zhang Wenjuang understood very well. The Cloud sect was a big sect. Even though he was the big senior brother, the other senior brothers within the sect were really helpful and kind as well. This was because if one wanted to attain the seat of the Grand Master, strength wasn't the only criteria. It also depended on how caring the senior disciples were towards their fellow disciples. Zhang Wenjuang's aura was mysteriously deep as he stood firmly at the entrance. He was feeling a little contemptuous in his heart while looking at how Fang Weifeng was hooting at the other fella. To think that he would dare to kick at others without any concrete strength himself. If not for the fact that death duels weren't allowed within the Cloud sect, Fang Weifeng would have been killed dozens of times over given his temper. Lin Fan. Scram the hell out for your father here. Weren't you really cocky earlier on? What happened? Acting like a cowardly tortoise now, eh? Now that he had his big senior brother as his backing, Fang Weifeng was naturally filled with confidence. Even senior brother Zhang's strength was extremely mighty. It wasn't something that a human like this could hope to compete against. He knew that Lin Fan's strength was only that of a divine celestial level 3 paradise state. However, senior brother Zhang was at the divine celestial level 4 undying state. A single glance was enough to tell who was the stronger one of the two. However, if Fang Weifeng were there to see how Lin Fan had slain 3 divine celestial level 4 undying state beings on his own, how was he to think? Zhang Wenjuang was frowning right now. Why wasn't this human out yet? He took a step forth. Instantly, a tremendous amount of energy converged into a single point and bolted towards the door. However, just as that point of aura was about to reach the doors slammed open. Instantly, it seemed as though that point of aura had dove straight into the ocean and disappeared without a trace. What? Is there a dog that has appeared to disturb my rest? Lin Fan strode out of his house with an extremely casual manner. He was getting a little irked over it, the endless provocations of Fang Weifeng. Seemed like if he didn't teach this person a good lesson this time around, things wouldn't do at all. However, Fang Weifeng was a disciple of the Cloud sect. No matter what, Lin Fan would have to give the Cloud sect some face. But, he knew that Fang Weifeng was nothing but an ant this time around. The question was, who was the true big shot that Fang Weifeng had brought over? Is this the reinforcement that you have sought out? Lin Fan tossed a side glance at the man standing beside Fang Weifeng. Divine Celestial Level 4, Undying State. What? How boring was this? If this were in the past, someone with this cultivation state might be pretty decent for Lin Fan. However, to the current Lin Fan, this was a character he could take down with the flip of his palm. HMPH. Lin Fan, I know that you're a guest that was invited back by Elder Yun He. However, I've got to get some justice for this palm of mine that you've severed. Looking at the relaxed disposition Lin Fan was in right now, Fang Weifeng was so angry he was flushed red. Both of his eyes seemed as though a volcano was about to erupt from them. You're Lin Fan, the human who injured junior brother Fang? Zhang Wenjuang, who had remained silent all the while, finally spoke up. That's right, that's me all right. What now? You're here to stand up for him? Lin Fan stood at his doorway and stared at Zhang Wenjuang. Lin Fan, this is senior brother Zhang here. Even though your cultivation state is higher than mine, you're way too weak compared to my senior brother Fang here. I'd advise you to apologize obediently to your father here. Otherwise, once senior brother Fang has to step in, things would definitely turn nasty, Fang Weifeng vociferated. The disciples that were surrounding them began to discuss in hushed whispers. So, he's the human, Lin Fan? How come he doesn't look as strong as described by senior brother Tianyun? Who knows whether senior brother Tianyun has been scamming us? Senior brother Zhang here as someone who is always by the side of big senior brother. He is really strong for sure. I heard that senior brother Zhang had once slain an ancient race being of an undying state back when he had gone out for an expedition training. Zhang Wenjuang's expression was calm right now. Upon hearing the topic of discussion amongst the disciples, he could not stop that bubbling feeling of pride in his heart. Zhang Wenjuang, senior brother Zhang, I see. Divine Celestial Level 4, Undying State. Lin Fan grinned and mumbled indifferently. So, you're the guest that Elder Yun he has invited over. Our big senior brother has spoken. We don't expect much from you. As long as you're willing to pay an apology to junior brother Fang as compensation, we'll be done with this matter. Zhang Wenjuang lifted his chin slightly with an overbearing aura. HMPH. It's your lucky stars shining on you that Elder Yun he has brought you back to the sect as a guest. Otherwise, I'd definitely have you kneel before me and kowtow in apology. Now that senior brother Zhang was backing him from the side, Fang Weifeng wasn't afraid in the least bit that Lin Fan might strike out. As long as senior brother Zhang was around, who in the sect would dare to act so brazenly before him? Furthermore, the true backing behind senior brother Zhang was big senior brother. Big senior brother was a man of an unparalleled standing in the sect. Lin Fan could not help but chuckle out as he waved his hand dismissively. Divine Celestial Level 4, Undying State. That's not enough. If you want to have me apologize, I'm afraid that big senior brother of yours would have to come before me himself. Even then, we'll have to see if he's got the capabilities to have me make an apology. Insolent. The moment Zhang Wenjuang heard this, he was incensed. To think that this fellow would dare to ask for the big senior brother to come without knowing his place. He was definitely courting death. Stop. Just as Zhang Wenjuang was about to strike out, Fairy Hong Yun hurried over from the distance. Fang Weifeng, what are you trying to do here? Fairy Hong Yun came in between all three of them and asked, slightly sullen. Junior sister Hong Yun, this has got nothing to do with you. The grudge of my severed hand has to be paid back. Fang Weifeng spoke up. Junior sister Hong Yun, this is the order of the big senior brother. We do not wish to take his life. As long as he offers an apology to junior brother Fang, we would let this matter go, Zhang Wenjuang added on. He is a guest invited by Elder Yun he. Are you guys not going to give Elder Yun he any face now? Fairy Hong Yun asked. Of course we've got to give Elder Yun he some face. However, even Elder Yun he has to give big senior brother some face as well. Therefore, junior sister Hong Yun, I implore you to best give way and have him apologize. Otherwise, even Elder Yun he will not be able to intercede into this matter any longer, Zhang Wenjuang replied without changing his expression at all. Even though Yun he was an elder, his cultivation state wasn't that high. Therefore, he did not contest for the seat of the Grand Master after entering Divine Celestial Cultivation state, and chose to be an elder from there on. If big senior brother were to not vie for the seat of the Grand Master and convert into an elder, his position would then be even higher than Elder Yunhe's. Therefore, even if this were a guest of Elder Yunhe, Zhang Wenjuang wasn't going to give him much face. Don't worry, junior sister Hong Yun. I'm only going to have him apologize to me. Rest assured that I wouldn't whack him to death. Fang Weifeng chimed in overbearingly. You, Fairy Hong Yun glared at Fang Weifeng in rage. I think you guys are getting it all wrong. The reason why Hong Yun is stopping you guys isn't because she's afraid that I might be whacked to death by you guys. She's afraid that I might get careless and kill off all of you instead. Standing beside Fairy Hong Yun, Lin Fan chuckled out. Damn it. To think that you would dare to act so impertinently even at this moment? Senior brother Zhang, this person here isn't giving any respect to our big senior brother at all. Fang Weifeng had not expected Lin Fan to dare to spout such big words even at this juncture. His heart was burning with fury, as he couldn't wait to trample on this guy before his feet right now. Brother Lin, this is the Cloud sect here. Please have mercy in your attacks. You definitely mustn't kill them at all costs. Tianyun was hurrying over from the distance. Catching sight of the situation before him, he knew that a fight was going to break out soon. As such, he could not help but cry out immediately. He was truly afraid that Lin Fan might not be able to hold it in and end up killing these two people. By then, things would truly go south. The moment Lin Fan heard the words of Tianyun, he couldn't help but chuckle once more. After which, he nodded his head. Relax, relax. I'll just carry out a casual punishment for them. I won't take their lives, Tianyun. Once senior brother Zhang is done with him, we'll then spend some time taking care of you, bloody fella. Looking at how Tianyun would dare to stand on the side of the human so recklessly, Fang Weifeng was entirely furious right now. Han Yun, please make way. Don't worry. I know my limits. Lin Fan pulled Han Yun aside. He then turned around to the two other people. I've told you guys. An undying state being such as yourself has no right to talk to me about such stuff. If you truly want to talk to me, get your big senior brother here, brazen. This time around, Zhang Wenjuang was truly enraged. His eyes shone with a vicious glint. Instantly, he disappeared from where he was and threw a punch towards Lin Fan. Chapter 602 Chapter 602, Way 2 Week Translator, Lam_editor, Hitesh_ Senior Brother Zhang has gone for it now. Look at how much vim and vigor he has. He is like an unsheathed blade right now. The moment Zhang Wenjuang struck out, lightning crackled through the air as typhoons erupted out. Looking at this tremendous force that was slamming forth, all of the surrounding disciples were extremely taken aback. They knew that their senior brother Zhang was very strong. But, to think that he was this strong. Even gods and ghosts might be unable to defend against this single move of his. The air was filled with everyone's continuous exclamations. Nobody saw Lin Fan as the favorite in this matchup. After all of them clearly knew of senior brother Zhang's might in their hearts. He was an extremely strong existence. However, there were two people on the scene who did not have the looks of worry on their faces. One of them was Fairy Han Yun, and the other was Tianyun. They were the ones who had witnessed how strong Lin Fan's might was. Han Yun was especially clearer than anyone else about this fact. Within the tomb of the Fire-Water Empress, Lin Fan had single-handedly fought against 3 divine celestial level 4, undying state beings. Back then, he was already handling the situation relatively easily. And that was even before him tiding over the Paradise Thunder calamity. Needless to say, his power level must have risen up tremendously once more. Even though Zhang Wenjuang was a divine celestial level 4, undying state being, he was probably no match for Lin Fan at all. Your punch is pretty decent. Your paradise is pretty decent too. But, what a pity. It just isn't enough, Lin Fan commented indifferently. He wasn't bothered by it in the least bit. HMPH, Zhang Wenjuang snorted coldly. The glint in his eye seemed to possess some concrete truth to it, as though he could see through everything in this world. To think that this human before him would dare to act so insolently even at this point. Did he really think that he could go lawlessly just because he had the backing of Elder Yun He behind him? Lin Fan chuckled gently as he stood on the spot without budging an inch. Zhang Wenjuang's fist was increasing in size as it got closer to Lin Fan. At the same time, the exploding sounds from this attack boomed ever louder as his aura grew even stronger. What's that human doing? Why is he not even trying to dodge this? All of the surrounding disciples were bewildered by this human that was standing there rooted right now. They wondered what in the world he was up to. Could he have been scared silly by that punch of senior brother Zhang? Even though Tianyun knew how strong Lin Fan was, he could not figure out what he was doing right now. Was it really a good move to act so dramatically right now? Zhang Wenjuang's punch came straight at Lin Fan. At the same time, the strong gale that was created by this immense force caused Lin Fan's long locks to dance in the sky. Bam! The punch had struck its mark. With Lin Fan as the center, a series of ripple lines fluctuated out into all directions. This mighty force was transmitted out. All of the surrounding disciples who were observing this could feel their feet wavering due to shockwave. It's done. Looking at how Lin Fan took the punch of senior brother Zhang, Fang Weifeng was overwhelmed with joy in his heart. The punch of a divine celestial level 4, undying state being wasn't something that was to be underestimated. Even if he weren't dead, he would at least be crippled. The strength of your punch is pretty decent. However, it neither stings nor itches. To me, this is simply way too weak. Lin Fan was dandy and fine as he smiled at Zhang Wenjuang. How could this be? Zhang Wenjuang tossed his head up and stared straight at Lin Fan in disbelief. He could not believe that this man could be standing all right after taking a punch of his. Furthermore, Zhang Wenjuang felt as though he had just punched into quicksand. The moment all of his force came into contact with the body of this human, it was as though it was absorbed by some invisible power. As of now, Lin Fan's physical body state was that of a divine celestial level 4, undying state. Not only did it neither sting nor itch, it could still bring forth some experience points for him. I've told you. You're not qualified. If you want to regain some dignity for this piece of trash, you've got to get your big senior brother here. Lin Fan spoke in a relaxed manner. Even though Lin Fan had spoken out these words in a calm tone, they permeated the ears of the surrounding disciples like raging tsunamis. These disciples could not believe that the single punch of their senior brother Zhang to be entirely useless. How ridiculous could this be? Was this human truly that strong? Damn it. You've asked for this. Zhang Wenjuang retreated furiously. With that, he started gathering all his aura to the peak status as his powers within his body rumbled. Instantly, the figure of a giant appeared above his head. The moment all the disciples that were surrounding caught sight of this scene, they cried out immediately. This is senior brother Zhang's heaven and earth's law. The powers of this heaven and earth's law are infinite. A single punch of it would be akin to multiple divine celestial level 4, undying state beings striking out with all of their might. Power be to senior brother Zhang. The moment Fang Weifeng caught sight of his senior brother Zhang going deadly with his assaults, Fang Weifeng cheered with a flushed face. If he could kill this human right now, that would be for the best. That punch previously must have been reserved in strength because senior brother Zhang did not want to kill this person by accident. Now that the other party has successfully riled senior brother Zhang, it was no doubt that senior brother Zhang would go all out with this. Human. You've asked for this yourself. If you die in the Cloud Sect, you should not begrudge me. Senior brother Zhang roared in anger. His powers were like stormy waves that were going to crash down on Lin Fan right now. He punched out once more. This time around, the punch was way stronger than before, way more ferocious. This bold, invincible power that could overturn mountains and topple the seas was contained within that single fist. It was so strong that it caused the void before it to contort in distortion. Yet, Lin Fan stood there all the same with a grin. Oh, this punch looks pretty decent now. But, it's a pity that you're still way too far from the home run. Lin Fan shook his head disappointedly. Shut up, Zhang Wenjuang howled as his entire body turned into a single straight line. Lin Fan pointed out his finger and tapped the void gently. Shing. A vibrating sound was slowly spreading out. As though the void was the surface of a water body with Zhang Wenjuang's fist as its core, a series of energy ripples began to transmit out. Zhang Wenjuang's face changed immediately. He could not believe this. He could feel his power being dispersed by this single finger. Nirvana finger. Ever since the Paradise Thunder calamity, its powers had multiplied by many folds. If he were to point it at the void itself would cease to exist. If he were to point it at an incoming force, the force would break down. Indeed, having a cultivation state divine celestial level 4, undying state is something to be proud of. However, in my eyes, a divine celestial level 4, undying state being is nothing but an ant for me to crush. Head back and tell your big senior brother. If he truly wants to get back your pride, come at me himself. Lin Fan placed his finger on the fist of Zhang Wenjuang. With a gentle flick, a massive amount of energy was reflected out. Instantly, Zhang Wenjuang felt as though mountains were crushing down on his entire body. Like a bullet, he ricocheted into the distance. Zhang Wenjuang's eyes were filled with fright as he spat out a mouthful of blood. To think that he would lose just like that. He didn't even have a chance to retaliate. He didn't even know how he had lost. How could this be? The scene right now had Fang Weifeng's face entirely pale, as though he had just seen a ghost. The moment he caught sight of Lin Fan's gaze, he could feel his entire guts sinking, as though they were going to implode from within. The surrounding disciples had not expected things to turn out so dramatically either. As such, they could not help but suck in a breath of cold air. Some of the disciples who had not trusted in Tianyun's words were now utterly convinced. This human was way too strong. To think that senior brother Zhang at the divine celestial level 4, undying state was taken down by a single move of the enemy. Right now, he was just tossed onto the ground mercilessly. What sort of strength was that? Lin Fan, thank you for showing mercy, Fairy Hong Yun said gratefully. If one does not exterminate the roots of the weed, it will grow again as the spring breeze passes by. However, on your account, I shall let this go. How about you take me around the sect for a tour now? Lin Fan replied, ignoring the two hostels entirely. All right, Fairy Hong Yun nodded her head. The moment Fang Weifeng heard these words, he felt as though his heart was dunked into an ice cave. He could feel an aura of death wrapping itself around his body. He truly believed that he had felt the killing intent locking onto him from that human. Chapter 603 The new beginning starts before his eyes. Translator, Lam_editor, Hitesh_ looking at Lin Fan, Fairy Hong Yun heaved a sigh of relief. Thankfully he had chosen to show mercy. Otherwise, things would really turn sour if he had gone on to kill them. On the other hand, Lin Fan wasn't feeling all that pleased right now. At the end of the day, this was an issue of strength. He was within the Cloud sect right now. Not only was the Grandmaster's strength higher than his, even some of the elders here might be more powerful than him as well. By all reasons, he should have killed Fang Weifeng over his unwarranted provocations that had happened time and again. However, Lin Fan couldn't throw all caution to the wind against all the other people of the Cloud sect. If he had absolute power, he wouldn't have needed to bother with them and could just kill off Fang Weifeng without any bit of mercy. Lin Fan, thank you for your merciful act. They're way too comfortable with staying within the Cloud sect, leading to this arrogant and condescending temper, showing respect to no one at all. Even though Fairy Hong Yun's cultivation state wasn't too high, she was adept at telling one's heart. She knew that there wasn't much hope for the next generation of disciples within the Cloud sect. The senior disciples of the Cloud sect weren't thinking about overthrowing the ancient race at all. In their minds, they were more concerned with the inner politics and conflicts of the sect. All of them were vying for power through the seat of the Grandmaster. Lin Fan did not reply as he smiled indifferently and enjoyed the picturesque scenery around them. To think that there would be such a flourishing sect within the ancient saint world. This was pretty incredible indeed. Even the Xuanwang world would not be able to catch up with something like this. Indeed, a dragon was born through troubled times. Senior brother Zhang, are you all right? Fang Weifeng was so afraid that he was shivering uncontrollably from head to toe right now. His face was extremely pale. He had not expected that this senior brother Zhang of his, who possessed a terrifying amount of strength, wouldn't be a match for that human. The gaze that the human cast on him right before he left was especially chilling. Zhang Wenjuang's face was sinister and horrifying to look at right now. He swept the crowd of disciples with a furious gaze. Every single one of their eyes locked on him were akin to invisible hands that were slapping his face. Scram, Zhang Wenjuang growled in wrath. His eyes were filled with a boundless hatred as he got up and left the place. He was unable to tolerate this burning humiliation received today, especially before so many of his junior brothers and sisters. The shame that Zhang Wenjuang felt right now was limitless. Fang Weifeng was freaked out so badly by that scram that he stumbled back a few steps as well. He looked at the back view of his leaving senior brother Zhang. Even though he was angered within his heart, he chose to follow behind him as well. Right now, he was going to report this to the big senior brother so that he could handle this issue personally. In his eyes, this Lin Fan was just bloody courting death. If big senior brother were to step in, things would definitely be absolutely nasty. Looking at how Zhang Wenjuang and Fang Weifeng were retreating with their tails between their legs, the surrounding disciples began to discuss with an unbridled sense of eagerness. Wasn't that guy way too strong? To think that even senior brother Zhang would be defeated by him. He's way too domineering. He took down senior brother Zhang of Divine Celestial Level 4, Undying State with a single finger. Just how strong of a power does that human wield? Senior brother Tianyun, hurry up and tell us more about the stories of this human. Looking at his junior brothers and sisters surrounding his side once more, Tianyun could not help but beam widely. What now? Are you guys finally believing of my words? Yes, we do. We absolutely do. Senior brother Tianyun. Please tell us more, please. Tianyun was smiling right now. After that, everyone crowded around Tianyun like he was the center of the universe as they continued listening to his teachings intently. However, at this moment, Tianyun was a little worried actually. After all, the backing behind Zhang Wenjuang was the big senior brother. If big senior brother were to come forth, what would happen by then? The news of this affair traveled extremely quickly. Other than the big senior brother, many other senior brothers and sisters had their own factions within the sect. Their relationship with the big senior brother Lu wasn't all that good. Even though they did not openly display this hostility, it was common for them to plot against one another in the dark of daily affairs. Even though the Grand Master of the Cloud Sect knew of these happenings, he did not know what he should say. Hong Yun. The Cloud Sect resides within a paradise. If that's the case, is the owner of the paradise still alive? Lin Fan had still yet to figure out just what was going on with this. After all, living within someone's paradise meant that they would be handing over their lives to that person. Furthermore, the Grand Master of the Cloud Sect was a divine celestial level 8, universal elixir state being. Wasn't the owner of the paradise afraid that the Grand Master might turn against him or anything? Hearing Lin Fan's inquiry, Hong Yun did not make any attempts to hide it at all. After all, this wasn't too much of a secret either. Actually, this paradise was created by the founder ancestor of the Cloud Sect. However, in order to allow the paradise to continue sustaining through all of time, the founder ancestor had passed away in a seated position of enlightenment back when had created the sect. With that, his body was infused within the paradise's heaven's will, allowing him to maintain the order of this paradise. The moment Hong Yun thought of the noble acts of the founder ancestor, her face was filled with pride. This was a self-sacrificial act in order to bless the descendants. Lin Fan looked around at the depths of the cave. Within the depths, there was a ball of mysterious energy that was distinctly disconnected from all forms of exploration. On hearing about this founder ancestor of the Cloud Sect, Lin Fan was pretty impressed as well. Everything was done for the future. This was so that he could provide a haven of salvation for the refugees of the beings of the thousands of races. If he were the one in the same position, he would definitely not have been able to do the same. After all, which beings of that power level weren't peerless overlords that could control most things? To give up everything, to cut free from the path of true eternity and give everything to the descendants in the form of blessings. What sort of an enlightened being must that person be in order to make such a decision? There was nothing short of impressiveness in that noble act of his. Under the guidance of Fairy Hong Yun, Lin Fan had a good tour of the entire Cloud Sect. At the same time, ideas of how to develop his paradise from here on forth was starting to bloom in his mind. Even though the Cloud Sect resided within a paradise, it seemed to be in a world of its own. Not only were there living beings that were born from the paradise, there were even artificially created secret grounds. In fact, there were even self-imposed rules of nature in this place. There were 4 seasons that alternated regularly. There was the sun and the moon as well as the stars. It was just that other than the sun, moon and stars, everything else was dark, without a path out elsewhere. Lin Fan had been observing all the while. He was sure that his paradise would definitely have the same capacity at the end of its path. However, there was still a long road on this path that he had to slowly discover and uncover. After touring for a long time, Lin Fan finally separated from Fairy Hong Yun. However, before that, Fairy Hong Yun informed Lin Fan of a piece of good news. Tomorrow, she would bring him to the library to check out all the books. With a sect as grand as this, Lin Fan already had a good idea of what was to come. The books that were kept must definitely be as immeasurable as the seas. The depth of the contents was not something he could imagine. Big senior brother's mountain peak, Fang Weifeng was burying his head in tears. Big senior brother. That human was simply way too cocky. Not only did he beat up senior brother Zhang, he insulted you as well. Fang Weifeng was bawling tragically. Senior brother Zhang wanted him to pay an apology. However, he started spouting out with big words. He claimed that senior brother Zhang does not have the right to talk to him, and demanded you to see him personally. Lu Hen's face was solemn and indeterminate. However, it was evident that he was slightly pissed indeed. How did anybody dare to touch someone under his care in the Cloud Sect? Undoubtedly, this person was not giving him any bit of respect at all. Just where in the world did Elder Yun he find this human from? To think that he would dare to act so audaciously upon entering the Cloud Sect. Wenjuang, can you confirm the words of junior brother Fang here? Did the human truly speak such words? Lu Hen asked in a deep voice. Big senior brother, junior brother Fang is right. That human did speak these words. Zhang Wenjuang felt as though he had been given tight slaps. To think that he would be schooled as such despite being a divine celestial level 4, undying state being. This was an utmost humiliation for him. However, Zhang Wenjuang knew that he could blame no one but himself for the lack of skills. But, it was just that the other party was clearly just a paradise state being. How could he not be a match for him? This was the point that Zhang Wenjuang couldn't be clear of no matter what. Even if it were a sinner such as the ancient race beings, they shouldn't be able to render him so utterly helpless given the cultivation level gap. Alright. Good, very good. Since this is the case, I'll go and check him out tomorrow then. We'll see just what sort of capabilities he has. Lu Hen blasted out as his eyes shone with an ominous glint. The moment Fang Weifeng heard that his big senior brother was going to show up personally, he was elated beyond words. With our big senior brother stepping in, things will definitely be fine. The human will definitely be trampled upon by our big senior brother like a dead dog no matter how strong he is. However, Fang Weifeng's bootlicking skills had no effect on someone like Lu Hen. The decision was Lu Hen's own to make. As the big senior brother, Lu Hen was locked in constant strife with the other senior disciples constantly. Now that someone under his care had been bullied so badly, if he didn't take any action towards this and news of it were to spread out within the sect, he would definitely turn into a laughingstock. At that time, there might be a significant decrease in the number of disciples following him. When that happened, there would definitely be an impact to his standing within the sect, as well as his fight for the seat of the Grand Master. Chapter 604 None. The next day, Lin Fan followed Fairy Hong Yun to the library of the Cloud Sect. Lin Fan, this is the library here. Because the Grand Master has spoken up, you do not have to worry about the duration you would wish to stay inside here, Hong Yun smiled. At the same time, her gaze towards Lin Fan was strange. The library possessed everything of Cloud Sect. The disciples of the sect would have to train up within the secret grounds till they achieved a certain accomplishment before they were allowed to view the books of the library. Not only that, there was a time restriction for them. Most disciples would only be allowed to stay for 2 days in the library. To think that the Grand Master would grant Lin Fan an infinite amount of time within the library seemed like he must be holding some great expectations for Lin Fan. If not for the current Grand Master who was holding on to the affairs of the sect right now, things would have certainly gone out of hand by now. The Grand Master harbored a deep hatred for the ancient race. He would never ever show any mercy to any of them. As such, he was always kind to the beings of the thousands of races who were against the ancient race, and was willing to sacrifice anything for them. Once upon a time, there was a being of the thousands of races who was trapped and surrounded by the ancient race within a part of the Forbidden Grounds because he had slain a legatus of the ancient race. The moment the Grand Master caught wind of this news, he headed over to rescue him immediately without any bit of hesitation. That battle was earth-shattering. Some of the sovereign kings of the ancient race joined hands together against the Grand Master, resulting in him being bloodied from head to toe. Eventually, he managed to escape out with that being, who later on became an elder of the Cloud Sect. The guard at the library took a look at Lin Fan. He then nodded his head and opened up the door for him, welcoming him within. Lin Fan felt as though something was happening to the space around him. By the time he next opened his eyes, he found himself buried in a sea of books. There were 2 rows of bookshelves that pierced all the way up into the heavens. Each of them was stacked with a dense number of books. These books gave off a fragrant scent, and carried with them some resonance of magic. Books possessed spirits of their own. The more they were browsed by people, the more of a human aura it would possess. Furthermore, some of these books could have been written by powerful beings. As such, they would have some consciousness of their own upon completion. This would be what most people would refer to as book spirits. Holy f***ck. Back in my previous life, it was already pretty much of a headache to read through books. To think that I would be faced with a sea of books once more. This is truly a sin of its own. Lin Fan shook his head and sighed. After that, he dove straight into the sea of books. At the Grandmaster's main hall, Grandmaster, Lu Hen has left his mountain peak today and is headed to the residence of that human. I presume that he should be heading over to seek an explanation for the happenings of yesterday. The man who was speaking right now was an elder of the Cloud sect. His aura was concealed as though it was a vast ocean. One could sense great, calm waves from it. However, if he were to be enraged, it would most probably turn into raging tsunamis that would consume everything in their path. Highs. They have long forgotten about their own dreams and ideals. They've forgotten about the oaths that they had once sworn back when they had entered the sect. To think that they would be so absorbed within this struggle for power. As the Grandmaster, all of these are my responsibilities. The Grandmaster of the Cloud sect blamed himself. Grandmaster, you do not need to feel reproachful over this. During peacetime, these are things that were bound to have happened, Meng Hengtian lamented. He too had watched Lu Hen and the others grow up since young. Once upon a time, their hearts were for the common people as well. However, as their statuses grew along with their strength, they gradually changed in character and turned selfish. Eventually, they disregarded the sufferings of the beings of the thousands of races out there entirely, and were totally concerned about their personal well-being. Grandmaster, are you intending to entrust all of your hopes onto that human? Meng Hengtian asked. The Grandmaster of the Cloud sect stood up and swept his robes. The next time he reappeared, he was standing in the void up above the Cloud sect. Take a look at the changes of the Cloud sect right now. Meng Hengtian looked around at that vast and boundless place. Eventually, his expression changed as well. I'm sure you can tell as well. The aura of this place is changing. Once upon a time, this place was bright as the day. But now, it's in a state of chaos. This is an omen that we're on the brink of destruction, Grandmaster Yun said in a worried tone. Grandmaster, and your intentions are? That's right. That human is a pride of their race. He represents hope. For a paradise thunder calamity to amount in the thousands, that is a paradise that goes beyond the orders of the world. It is an existence that is not to be stopped. For the first half of my life, I was blinded by hatred. Thankfully, I had the guidance of a benefactor who brought me onto the right path of life. The Cloud sect must not be destroyed in my rule, nor should it be a personal tool for Lu Hen and the others. The reason why the founder ancestor chose to give up his life and fuse with the heaven's will of the paradise was so that he could give the beings of the thousands of races a last ray of hope. As for me, I'm awaiting that chance as well. Grandmaster, you intend to hand the... That initially calm face of Meng Hengtian changed abruptly as he glared at the Grandmaster in disbelief, but if that's the case, wouldn't all of them be disgruntled? How could they accept something like that? Furthermore, Grandmaster, how do you know that the human truly cares about the beings of the thousands of races, because of Hong Yun? The Grandmaster of the Cloud sect replied calmly. Hong Yun? Meng Hengtian's face was bewildered right now. He wondered what all of this had to do with that child, Hong Yun. Hong Yun isn't someone of the Cloud race. That you know, right? Yes, I do. This child, Hong Yun, she's someone that you brought in from the outside, Grandmaster. However, I do not know what race this child belongs to. Meng Hengtian replied. Once upon a time, I was closely tied by fate with a being of the heart race. However, the heart race is a race that the heavens will of the ancient saint world could never permit to exist. That's because the heart race could sense the changes within the future. During an expedition, an utmost being of the ancient race struck out and slew the heart race. Not only that, they focused their powers at the base of the heart race and destroyed their core entirely. The only thing I could do was to salvage a single bloodline for the heart race. Meng Hengtian did not speak. The more he listened to the words of his Grandmaster, the more his face changed. Grandmaster, you mean to say that Hong Yun, that brat, she's seeing the future from that human lad? Meng Hengtian asked in shock. Grandmaster Yun did not reply him directly. He just looked at Meng Hengtian for a long time. Do you understand my intent now? Meng Hengtian looked at his Grandmaster before nodding. Eventually, Hengtian understands. No matter what happens in the future, I'll always support your decision, Grandmaster. That's because I know that your heart has never changed from the very beginning. Meng Hengtian understood the concerns of his Grandmaster, as well as all the pains that he was shouldering right now. Grandmaster, take a look over there. Suddenly, Meng Hengtian pointed his finger into the distance. Grandmaster Yun took a quick look. Not too long after, he brought Meng Hengtian with him and left the place. The moment the disciples of the Cloud sect caught sight of their big senior brother Lu Hen leaving the mountain peak, they tagged behind him happily one by one. They knew that it was rare for their big senior brother Lu Hen to leave his mountain peak. Therefore, it was somewhat of a rare occasion if they wanted to catch sight of him at all. However, some of the disciples knew the reason why their big senior brother Lu Hen chose to leave the mountain peak this time. Big senior brother Lu Hen must be out to find trouble with that human. They were sure that the human was going to be in for it now. Now that big senior brother Lu Hen was coming personally, could the human possibly be a match for him? By the time the masses came by Lin Fan's place of residence, Fang Weifeng had begun to holler out cockily once more. "You bloody dogsha *T, get the hell out. Today, my big senior brother is here. We'll see if you're still such a tough guy." Fang Weifeng's mood was extremely wonderful right now. After all, this was his day of vengeance. With his big senior brother standing the fort, they were bound to win it this time around. Chapter 605 Experience points in the book? Translator, Lam_editor, Hitesh_. Even though Fang Weifeng had lost some dignity over the events earlier on, the big senior brother was now stepping in all because of his affair. An honor of this sort wasn't something that just anyone could have. To think that senior brother Fang would manage to invite the big senior brother over. He's really got some reputation, huh? I think we would do well to give senior brother Fang more respect in the future. The moment Fang Weifeng heard the murmurs of the surroundings, he raised his head in pride. He felt as though he was seriously well respected right now. Tianyun, who was hidden within the crowd, pursed his mouth instead. He had not expected things to turn out like this. Now that even the big senior brother was here, things were going to get a little sticky. Where is that dogsha *T man? Could it be that he has turned into a cowardly tortoise because he knows that big senior brother is here personally? Fang Weifeng taunted in rage. Now that the big senior brother was here, Fang Weifeng just had to see how Lin Fan could still hop around and play the fool. The moment big senior brother struck, the heavens would shudder while the earth would rumble. Heck, even gods and ghosts would start tearing up. There was no way this guy wasn't going to be scared shish *T-less over it. Lu Hen stood there with his long robe swaying despite having no wind around. His aura was razor-sharp like an edged sharp sword. No one could pry their eyes away from his dazzling radiance. Looking at the disposition of their big senior brother, countless disciples were filled with awe. So, this was the legendarily strong big senior brother. To think that he could command such admiration from the masses just by standing there. "He's not inside," Lu Hen spoke up. Fang Weifeng, who was happily taunting, felt his entire face change immediately. To think that this human wouldn't be around? None. Seems like all of those actions of his yesterday were all just fluff and talk. The moment he heard that the big senior brother was truly coming, he got so afraid that he wouldn't even show his face. Who knows which hole he's hiding in and trembling right now even. All the *slicking of Fang Weifeng had Lu Hen smirking a little. That human has gone to the library with senior sister Hong Yun early this morning. Out of the crowd, a disciple spoke up. The moment Lu Hen heard this, his expression was displeased momentarily. However, he went back to normal as though it hadn't happened at all. "Big senior brother, what should we do now?" Fang Weifeng felt that they might be a little silly if they were to head over to the library and create trouble there. "We'll go back. I'll head over once more after he's out." Lu Hen replied. "Seems like that's the only way now." Fang Weifeng replied in a vexed tone. To think that this human had managed to escape yet another time. However, the fact that had Fang Weifeng gloating right now was that the human was with Hong Yun at this moment. Didn't that guy know that the big senior brother had a thing for junior sister Hong Yun? But that was all good as well. Since he chose to court death himself, he couldn't blame it on anyone else. "Big senior brother, please." Fang Weifeng's *slicking skills were the best in the world. Therefore, he naturally stood aside to allow Lu Hen to make his move first. Since we're here, we can't head back with nothing at all either. Time to leave him a little lesson then. Lu Hen's face was expressionless. With the sweep of his robes, Lin Fan's house collapsed into debris immediately. Bravo, big senior brother. Seems like the power of our big senior brother has risen to yet another level. The seat of the Grand Master belongs to our big senior brother for sure. Fang Weifeng continued bootlicking all the way. Lu Hen smiled indifferently as he left the place. The moment the surrounding disciples caught sight of what had just happened, they were stunned. Big senior brother was so overbearing. To think that he would wreck the other party's house in just a moment of displeasure. But then again, big senior brother should be the only person who could do this in the entire Cloud sect. And, since this Fang Weifeng was so close to the big senior brother, they should take care not to tread on his toes from now on. Otherwise, if they were to offend the other side, they wouldn't even know how they would die. Wei Tian, who was punished once by Lin Fan, stood in the crowd as well. He was neither anguished nor happy over everything that was happening right now. Either way, he did not intend to go against that human any longer. Even though senior brother Fang seemed to be getting his way for now, Wei Tian had a really bad feeling about this. Within the library, Lin Fan flipped the books one after another. Each time, the system would indicate whether to check through them. With the system, Lin Fan would master any book that he touched immediately. However, other than letting the system run its check, Lin Fan would look through them additionally as well. The books at the front weren't of much use to Lin Fan. However, the further to the back he got, the more Lin Fan felt that there were many things within these books that he did not know about. Buddha Demon Scriptures. At this moment, Lin Fan was holding on to a yellowed book. Amongst all the books in this area, this book had the most powerful aura. The moment he looked at the book, the words Buddha and demon amplified before his very eyes. Eventually, they turned into two figures of Buddha demons. These Buddha demons were reciting scriptures. Every word that they said floated out of the mouths into golden-colored, glowing, gigantic characters. Just as Lin Fan was reading through this scripture, the paradise within his body was undergoing some changes as well. Those uncountable golden gigantic characters revolved outwards into the Tao of his paradise, giving birth to the Tao of Buddha demon. It was as though a living being as strong as the Buddha demon could be born within his paradise with just a single thought. But of course, this was just a thought of Lin Fan. In order to give birth to living beings with just a single thought, he would require a lot more power. Living being. You've got a good comprehension towards our existence, how about come under us? We'll promise that your learning will be infinite. Just as Lin Fan was reading in depth, a grand voice rang out. Lin Fan looked over and found a figure of a Buddha demon seated on a lotus. His face was benevolent at times, and at other times, his demonic aura was torrential. What can you teach me? Lin Fan laughed coldly in his heart. To think that he could get into trouble just by reading even a book. Convert under us and we can impart to you an endless amount of legacy. You're guaranteed never to enter the reincarnation cycle for all eternity. This decadent voice of the Buddha demon revolved around the ears of Lin Fan. It was as though it possessed some sort of demonic power that could seduce one's heart. If one weren't of a firm will, they would definitely be cheated by this Buddha demon. You're not qualified enough. Slapping out with his palm, Lin Fan grabbed at the Buddha demon. If you do not convert under us, you're nothing but a sinner. The Buddha demon hollered in rage as it burst forth with a boundless might. But to Lin Fan, its effort was akin to trying to strike a rock with an egg. In the blink of an eye, Lin Fan's powers tunneled through and struck the other party dead. Ding! Congratulations on reading the Buddha Demon Scriptures. Experience points plus 50,000. Lin Fan could not help but grin. Indeed, the benefits of knowledge were immeasurable in terms of mere gold and jade. The value they provided was precious on their own. To think that there would be experience points hidden within the books. Not bad, not bad. This place is pretty decent indeed. Seems like yours truly has got to spend time within this library. Before I get to finish all the books, I'm not getting out of this place. Lin Fan chuckled in his heart. This was the first time he had come across such a situation. After he was done with the Buddha Demon Scriptures, he placed it back to where it was. At the same time, he had a better understanding towards his own paradise right now. Why was there a Buddha and a demon? These were two separate ideals that were born from Lin Fan and imprinted within the Tao of the paradise. Once the timing, power, and cultivation state finally reached the requirements, it would be the moment for the paradise to start giving birth to living beings. The library was a good place indeed. This wasn't a wasted trip at all. Lin Fan wondered what sort of changes he would undergo once he was done reading all of the books. Lin Fan was filled with anticipation towards these changes. Chapter 606 Chapter 606 This is a treasure ground. Translator, Lam_editor, Hitesh_. However, Lin Fan found out in disappointment that not all of the books were like the Buddha demon scriptures and contained the wisdom of the heavens and earth. Seemed like this Buddha demon scriptures must have been penned down by a powerful being of a divine celestial level 6, law state. This was because only a powerful being of such a state could infuse their comprehension of the laws of natural orders within and give birth to living beings. For example, if Lin Fan were to write a book now, yes, it would possess some sort of a will of its own. However, it would definitely not be able to give birth to a living being. That was because his power and comprehension levels weren't at that state just yet. Lin Fan sensed the aura given off by every book carefully. The stronger the aura of the book, the stronger the power of the person who wrote the book must have been. Even though Lin Fan had the system with him, if he had to flip through the books one by one in this vast sea of texts, even he would definitely take an extremely long time. Cloud sees bewilderment steps. This was a movement skill. Even though Lin Fan already had a movement skill, so near, yet so far, he knew that there was no harm in learning more about them. He could always learn from their strengths to make up for the shortcomings of others. By the time he was well versed in them to a certain degree, he could probably create a skill of his own. Learn, without any hesitation, Lin Fan allowed the system to learn it on its own. However, just at that moment, something jaw-dropping happened. To think that the skill spirits within the paradise would start clamoring. Hey, brothers. There's a newcomer. Let's destroy him. Brother so near, yet so far, there's a new movement skill that's trying to vie for affection away from you. Hurry up and devour him so that you can make up for your own shortcomings. HMPH. How dare a small little spirit of movement skill such as yourself try competing with me? Watch how I'll eat you up. The newly created spirit of movement skill had not even made out what the situation was in the least bit. But before he knew it, he was already devoured whole by the spirit of so near, yet so far. He had not expected his skill spirits to be this strong. Furthermore, their intellects were getting higher as well to understand that they were in danger. However, the astonishing thing was that after so near, yet so far devoured Cloud Sea's bewilderment steps, it underwent some changes as though it was taking in the essence of the latter and fusing it within his own body. This is a pretty decent outcome as well. Seems like I'm breaking new grounds once more. Lin Fan's heart was elated. To think that his skills would be able to devour other skills and take in their essence. Each time Lin Fan came to a stop in this vast sea of books, he would read through a few hundred books. Some of them were useful while others not so. However, the deeper Lin Fan's personal comprehension became, the more knowledgeable he became about his paradise. It was as though there was a pair of eyes that existed within this library from the unknowns, which had been observing Lin Fan's actions keenly. Each time this unknown person caught sight of Lin Fan understanding the true wisdom of every book he read, his eyes were extremely startled. This was especially the case after he had followed Lin Fan for some time now. The more Lin Fan read, the stronger his aura became, and the more this unknown person was astonished. Anger, ferocity, benevolence, happiness, battle. All of these auras were changing according to the context of the books. To think that these auras would be intertwining without any sort of obstruction to them. He has entered a state of becoming one with the books itself. Just what sort of a demonic being is this person? The guardian of the library had been keeping watch over the library for hundreds of years now. However, he had never come across someone as such. The deeper Lin Fan delved in, the stronger the aura of the books got within the library as well. At this moment, Lin Fan was holding on to a book. He could sense an extremely sharp sword will being emitted out from the book, as though it was bent on slicing his hands off. What an overbearing sword will! Lin Fan flipped his palm around to suppress it and checked out the cover. Heaven alarming sword. Lin Fan flipped open to the first page. The words on the text began to twist and contort like dragons and snakes. Eventually, they turned into countless sword wills that bolted out towards Lin Fan's eyes. Suddenly, Lin Fan felt as though he was transported into a world of swords. His eyes let out a gaze as they converged into a conqueror's sword will that instantly suppressed all of the sword wills within the book. Living being, your sword will is pretty strong indeed. If you're willing to be my sword slave, I can impart to you the strongest Tao of the sword. Instantly, a white-robed elderly man appeared before Lin Fan. Two extremely long whiskers that looked like sharp blades of their own hung down from his face. The elderly man was the sword, and likewise, the sword was the elderly man. The moment this elderly man appeared, there were no more swords in the world any longer. All that existed was this single sword that could battle the heaven and earth. Lin Fan had already understood that these powerful books could bewitch one's hearts. And comparatively, this heaven-alarming sword was way stronger than that Buddha demon scriptures. However, none of this mattered to Lin Fan. Your sword shall be my sword. While your sword can penetrate the heaven and earth, it's far from enough. Pointing out with his finger, Lin Fan's emptiness sword sliced through the realm of the elderly man and cut at him. You. The elderly man's gaze was extremely ferocious. However, it turned into one of shock right after. Instantly, he was pierced by that tremendous sword will and shredded into parts. Ding! Congratulations on reading Heaven Alarming Sword. Experience points plus 80,000. The moment the entire book was read by Lin Fan, the swords of the Heaven Alarming Sword flew into the air as sword wills and were fused within the Tao of his paradise. Shing! Suddenly, Lin Fan realized that something was happening to his firmament sword. The ninth sword will was about to be formed. At this moment, Lin Fan entered a state that was more mysterious than mysterious. His essence, spirit, and vitality had reached their peak limit. Lin Fan recalled all of the memories he had towards the path of the sword. The powers within his body were rumbling right now. Within his paradise, a rain of sword wills was beginning to fall. Congeal. Lin Fan closed his eyes shut. A never-before-experienced sword will burst forth from his eyes. Piercing through everything, it traversed through the heaven and earth. Ding! Congratulations on cultivating the ninth sword will of the firmament sword. To think that the rewards would be so bountiful. Seems like the library is just a piece of treasure ground for everyone. At this moment, Lin Fan truly understood the value of this library within the Cloud sect. As long as one's mind was resolved and resolute, they would definitely gain a good amount of comprehension from the books here. But, why in the world did the Grand Master of the Cloud sect allow me to reside within this library without any limits? Could it be because I'm way too handsome? Lin Fan could not help but think of this good point of his. Fairy Hong Yun had already told him from the start that if the disciples of the Cloud sect wanted to enter this library, they would have to pay a high price for it. However, not only was he not a disciple of the Cloud sect, he didn't have to do anything for this privilege. So, what in the world was the Grand Master of Cloud sect thinking? Lin Fan could not understand it at all. Therefore, he did not wish to harp on this issue, and instead, chose to continue on his path of reading. Within the library, countless book spirits had already known that a living being had entered this place. Furthermore, this was a strong living being they were talking about. This pace of reading is pretty slow. Seems like I've got to hasten up the process. Lin Fan sat down on the ground cross-legged and expanded his mind. His powers manifested into thin threads that connected onto every book itself. This sight was something the elderly guardian of the library was watching with open jaws. He could not believe that this human would dare to do that. Didn't he cherish his life any longer? On the other hand, those powerful book spirits started cheering in happiness. Everyone, let's go. To think that this human would dare to read us in such a manner. He's definitely contemplating death. Let us all rush forth together to bewitch his heart. At this moment, countless book spirits were growling out maliciously as they pounced towards those thin threads of Lin Fan's powers. The elderly guardian's brows creased. If the situation were to go awry, he would step in to suppress these restless book spirits. Chapter 607 None. Following the thin threads of Lin Fan's powers, the powerful book spirits leapt forth. Rushing from all directions, their formidable auras flooded into Lin Fan's paradise. Living being, serve under me and I shall guarantee you a lifetime of invincibility. Hand over your body to my care of, such a tough body you have. If only I could devour this body of yours, I could definitely break free of my book and create a body of my own. To all of these book spirits, Lin Fan's body was just a steaming delicious piece of meat. All of them wanted a piece of him. However, at that moment, a black beam of light pierced into the sky. Waving his hand, an elderly draped in black robes with a ghastly aura destroyed countless book spirits. This living being belongs to this old man here. None of you shall snatch him from me. Looking at this black-robed elderly, the faces of the book spirits around turned pale. Long live the Black Shadow King. Of course, only someone such as the Black Shadow King is capable of obtaining a living being like this. Given our capabilities, we're only worthy of keeping watch over him for you so that he does not escape. Under the pressure of facing such a powerful existence, all the other book spirits had no choice but to concede in defeat. Although each of them was angered and filled with indignance, they did not have any choice. The Black Shadow King was simply way too strong. He wasn't someone they could afford to offend. Lin Fan remained seated cross-legged in his paradise. His expression was calm and normal, completely unaffected by his nerves in the face of the invasion of all these book spirits into his paradise. All of this was within Lin Fan's palm of control. To be honest, Lin Fan had not expected that his link with these book spirits would attract forth so many powerful ones. Not bad. This was pretty decent indeed. Haha. To think that this living being's paradise would be this strong. Seems like you've been through the paradise thunder calamity, and have completed the Tao of your paradise. If I can obtain your physical body, it'll definitely save this old man of quite a bit of effort. The Black Shadow King laughed wildly. All of the other book spirits were filled with hatred and envy right now. This was the first time in a few hundred years that they had come across such a powerful living being. But, even though they had managed to come across him, he was entirely in the hands of the Black Shadow King. To think that they wouldn't be able to get a piece of this pie at all. At this moment, Lin Fan's eyes finally opened up. All of you book spirits are bent on getting your hands on my physical body, right? Lin Fan looked at that densely packed amount of book spirits. All of these book spirits looked extremely weird and possessed a unique aura of their own. All of them were born from the different books out there. The words from the book of a powerful being could help one in meditating. Conversely, he could also store his negative emotions within them, converting them into words and dispelling them from his body. Therefore, most of these book spirits were born from such negative emotions and feelings. Living being. Hand over your body now. This old man here can help guide you into someone who can dominate over the entire universe. The Black Shadow's King snorted coldly. Looking at these book spirits, Lin Fan shook his head. All of you better turn back into your knowledge obediently and come into yours truly's paradise. With that, Lin Fan raised his hand gently and pointed out with a finger. Instantly, the Black Shadow King felt as though he was locked by an aura. In the blink of an eye, he was pierced through by it thoroughly. Ding! Congratulations on reading Black Shadow's True Sutra. Experience points plus 150,000. The moment all of the book spirits saw how the horrifyingly strong Black Shadow King was destroyed by a single move, they started clamoring in chaos. Everyone, retreat. This living being's strength is way too strong. Spare us, sir. Please spare us. We're only here to observe, that's all. We mean no harm. Hurry up and get out of here. Otherwise, we'll all be destroyed by this living being. Lin Fan grinned. These guys were thinking of escaping after entering yours truly's paradise? There wasn't a free lunch in this world. Since you're here, all of you shall stay behind then. Lin Fan grabbed out with his hand. 5 fingers that were congealed with his powers appeared like massive mountains, which were so sturdy that one could not possibly dodge them. Bam, bam. His fingers grabbed and pinched out, and the void began to crumble repeatedly. At the same time, these book spirits started exploding as well, turning into a long river of knowledge that flowed into the Tao of his paradise. Ding, congratulations on reading Dao Burial. Experience points plus 80,000. Ding, congratulations on reading Unparalleled Heaven's Will. Experience points plus 100,000. Ding, congratulations on reading Happiness Mantra Sutra. Experience points plus 130,000. With countless book spirits being killed by Lin Fan, this immense amount of wisdom found itself transfusing within his paradise. A good way to explain this would be that in the past, the Tao of Lin Fan's paradise was akin to that of an illiterate. But under Lin Fan's diligent efforts, it had now turned into a scholar who had read intensively. With that, his knowledge was also as vast as the seas. The Tao now had the gift of gab, while every brandish of the brush was like a dragon's stroke as well. Every single sentence now possessed the wisdom of the heaven and earth. This human possesses immense powers. To think that he has managed to subdue so many book spirits. The guardian of the library's face was shocked. He was extremely astonished on seeing Lin Fan's methods. At the same time, he understood the intentions of the Grand Master. This person was definitely a pride of the human race. He was someone who bore the hopes of the thousands of races. He had seen far too many beings that were the pride and geniuses of their respective races. However, someone like this was totally unheard of, ever. It was something that was absolutely mind-boggling. Lin Fan was immersed within the vast sea of knowledge, comprehending and absorbing continuously. He knew that this was an encounter of a lifetime. The fact that he was even able to enter the library of the Cloud Sect must have been a result of merits he has accumulated over multiple past lives. If he didn't cherish this chance properly, he would definitely regret it in time to come. Within his paradise, knowledge swam around like a dragon as it was converted entirely into power for his core. A single word meant an entire world of its own. All of these books that were written by powerful beings possessed their personal comprehensions towards the path of martial arts. If one were to comprehend their wisdom, one would definitely raise their own powers to a peak status. Time passed like water, impossible to resist against. Lin Fan did not know how long he had spent comprehending in the paradise by now. However, he knew that his personal power level was rising accordingly as well. A genius savant such as this man is someone whom you would be hard-pressed to find even in a million years. To think that he would be able to comprehend the books with just a single look. Even if word of this were to get out, who in the right mind would believe something as such? The guardian of the library gasped in shock. Immediately after, he reported the entire process back to the Grand Master. The moment Grandmaster Yun heard of this news, his expression changed as well. Immediately after, he let out a chuckle. Seemed like everything was as he had thought. To him, Lin Fan was the embodiment of hope for the beings of the thousands of races. As long as a genius savant such as this man was allowed to continue growing, he would definitely rule unparalleled over the world one day. Within the paradise, birds chirped merrily while the flowers exuded a fragrant scent. The ground was filled with golden lotuses, with a heavenly tune resonating across the entire place. Countless wisdom spirits that were born from the comprehension floated gently in the skies while chanting sutras. With a deluge of heavenly flowers, this was an extremely unique sight to perceive. The big ancient demon, Thunder Trainer King, Long Zan, and Ziguang, etc., all these skill spirits had entered a state of comprehension. Following the increase of the paradise's strength, their own powers rose gradually together as well. All of those countless books of the library were comprehended by Lin Fan just like that. This power was equivalent to a torrential gush of water that rumbled relentlessly and endlessly. Cultivate. The skill of the Tao. Instantly, Lin Fan opened both his eyes while a massive aura burst forth from him. At this moment, Lin Fan's aura rose steadily. Within the Tao of the paradise, all sorts of Tao that were never seen before began to gather. At this moment, Lin Fan's Tao approached a state of perfection. Ding, congratulations on leveling up. Ding, cultivation state, divine celestial level 4, undying state. Chapter 608. Chapter 608, do they truly take Lin Fan as a pushover? Translator, Lam_editor, Hitesh_ within the library, Lin Fan opened his eyes instantaneously. The moment they did, a bright golden light shone out across the entire world. His aura was sturdy and firm, impossible to resist at all. Lin Fan could feel some changes going on throughout his body. This change eluded from his paradise's attainment of perfection. To think that I would level up just by suppressing these book spirits, wow, I did not expect it to be this fast, Lin Fan chuckled out. He was in an extremely good mood right now. Lin Fan did not keep track of the number of book spirits he had suppressed. However, all of these dense pack of book spirits that were suppressed by him in that instant resulted in a relentless amount of notifications from the system. Lin Fan couldn't count how much experience points he had gained at that moment. However, upon entering Divine Celestial Level 4, Undying State, Lin Fan could feel some changes going through his physical body. Blood Sea and Eternal God body had undergone some changes. Not only was his physical body indestructible, his consciousness was imperishable as well. It seemed as though every single piece of meat on his body possessed an unbridled amount of power on its own. It was endless and limitless in magnitude. The moment the guardian of the library caught sight of Lin Fan's aura rising to a higher point than before, his face was ever more astonished. To think that this human would level up his cultivation state just through the process of reading intensively. Something of this sort was unseen and unheard of throughout all of history. However, he naturally did not know that Lin Fan was getting experience points through suppressing those book spirits. Within this vast sea of books, the countless book spirits that were suppressed by Lin Fan had accorded him a significant amount of experience points. As such, leveling his cultivation state was just an easy task by then. Right now, the library no longer possessed any use for Lin Fan. Taking a step forth, the next place he appeared at was the entrance of the library. Thank you for the care. Right before leaving, Lin Fan turned his body around and waved to the empty void. He had noticed my presence. The moment the guardian heard these words from Lin Fan, his expression changed immediately. To think that this genius of the human race would have discovered him. Incredible. This is way too incredible. I wonder how long I've spent in the library exactly. Looking at the scenery outside, Lin Fan was a little confused. By the time he came to his residence, his face changed entirely. The sight that welcomed him wasn't something he had ever expected. The house he was residing in originally had vanished, and in its place was a bunch of debris. Looking around, Lin Fan discovered some disciples who were passing by and exchanging whispers about him behind his back. That's Lin Fan there. Why had he vanished for such a long time? Senior brother Fang would come by here every day. And each time he did so, he would stand before the pile of debris and hurl insults for a period of time. I think that he must be really afraid of everything that's happening. Hence, he went into hiding. The moment Lin Fan heard the topic of discussion amongst the disciples, his expression changed even further. The reason behind the destruction of his residence. Could it have been done by Fang Weifeng? At this moment, Lin Fan was angered. Truly, he felt that he had been far too forgiving and kind. There had never been anyone who had dared to act so brazenly before him these many times. Time and time again. By every single possible reason, he should have killed this guy. At this moment, a killing intent was surging through Lin Fan. Brother Lin. You're out. Tianyun appeared in the distance. When he caught sight of Lin Fan's figure, he headed up to talk to him hurriedly. He knew that Lin Fan had entered the library. But, he had not expected for Lin Fan to stay inside there for an entire month. Brother Tianyun, could you explain to me what's going on at my place? Lin Fan's face was somewhat displeased. His tone was pretty solemn as well. The moment Tianyun heard these words, his face turned pretty terrible. However, he still told the truth as it was. Brother Lin, when you entered the library, Fang Weifeng came forth to seek vengeance with the big senior brother. Upon realizing that you weren't around, big senior brother then destroyed your place. Lin Fan scoffed coldly. So, they really take me, Lin Fan, as a pushover now, eh? Brother Lin, please don't be rash. Looking at how sinisterly grim Lin Fan's face was right now, Tianyun's expression changed. Lin Fan waved his hands, not wanting to continue with the conversation. So, where does this big senior brother stay? I hope that you can tell me. Tianyun looked at the state Lin Fan was in right now. He knew that Lin Fan would definitely be headed over to big senior brother's place for revenge right now. However, the might of big senior brother was clear and evident to everyone. It wasn't that he didn't believe in Lin Fan's strength, but Big Senior Brother was simply way too strong. In fact, even if Tianyun truly had to compare between their strength, he couldn't deny that Big Senior Brother was still way stronger than Lin Fan. Brother Lin, this issue. Just as Tianyun was about to carry on with it, he was cut abrupt by Lin Fan. Tell me, where does Big Senior Brother stay? Lin Fan truly did not want to say anything more. The kind would always be bullied. He had been showing mercy all the way till now. To think that his merciful acts would be taken as an act of cowardice instead. Because of that, they were literally climbing all over his head right now. In his entire life of traversing through the pugilistic world, there had been no precedents to this audacious behavior. If Lin Fan had let him off once, it was because he wasn't bothered enough to kill him. If Lin Fan had let him off twice, it was still because he wasn't bothered to kill him. But now, it was the third time. Whether or not he was bothered, he would definitely kill this person. That mountain peak is where Big Senior Brother resides. Tianyun was petrified by the ominous aura that was being given off by Lin Fan right now. He then pointed at a mountain peak in the distance and replied, HMPH. How dare they bully me as such? They are truly taking Lin Fan as a pushover. Lin Fan did not say anything more than that. Leaping off the ground, he flew towards the mountain peak. Brother Lin, Tianyun was stunned. He knew that sh*t was going to hit the roof this time around. Without further ado, he hurried off to look for his junior sister Hong Yun and elder Yun He. They must prevent this tragedy from happening. Nothing serious must happen because of this. None, even if the entire Cloud sect were to hunt him down after killing this bunch of dogsha*ts, he wouldn't regret this in the least bit. So what, he would just have to fight his way out of it, wouldn't he? Bloody hell. Yours truly had trodden through the pugilistic world for such a long time now. Who had he not offended? So what if their cultivation states were higher than his? Yours truly was going to cross the cultivation state gap and slay down some F***ckers today. Lin Fan's flight to the mountain peak of Big Senior Brother was witnessed by many disciples. Of course, these disciples could sense that something big was about to happen. As such, the news spread really quickly like wildfire. All of the Cloud sect disciples knew that this human, Lin Fan, whose house was destroyed by the Big Senior Brother, had finally left the library and was headed towards the mountain peak of Big Senior Brother now. As the news was passed on mouth to mouth, eventually the entire Cloud sect caught wind of this affair. That human has gone to find trouble with the Big Senior Brother. Let's go and check it out. I wonder how things will turn out. Lu Hen, that fella has never ever given anyone any face just because he thinks that he is really strong. However, I wonder what will happen to the human. All of those disciples who were engaged in the political fights with Lu Hen began to discuss heatedly. Of course, with something like this happening, they were just attracted by the spectacle. The best case scenario was for them to bite at one another's necks. However, all of them could tell that the human was in deep trouble this time around. After all, there were simply way too many powerful beings who were taking Lu Hen's side. Despite that, an affair as such was still something that they were all hoping to see. Translators thoughts lam_lam_, yes. Finally, shit is getting serious. I can't wait for the fight to break out. Let's go. Cheers. Webnovel's author meetup in Singapore is happening tonight. So, might not be able to check the comments etc. on time. Do bear with me. Chapter 609 Domineering Might Translator, Lam_editor, Hitesh_ Big Senior Brother's mountain peak was named as the heaven-raising peak, implying that it would stand tall between the heaven and earth, unparalleled beyond everything in terms of capabilities. At this moment, a lone figure had appeared at the front of this mountain peak. HMPH. Big Senior Brother? If you tear down my house, then I'll tear down your entire mountain peak. Lin Fan's eyes glint with an ominous glow. They had gone too far this time, way too far. The heaven-raising peak was shielded by a formation. Without the required permission, most people would not be able to enter this place at all. Furthermore, the formation shield of this mountain peak was extremely strong. Even if someone were a divine celestial level 2, realm state being, they wouldn't be able to get through it at all. Get lost, Lin Fan slapped out with his palm. Instantly, that sturdy mountain peak shield formation began to tremble before shattering into pieces. The appearance of the mountain peak was revealed instantly. As for this earth-shattering vibration, every single disciple in the cloud sect felt it. That human has made his move. The shield formation of the heaven-raising peak has been destroyed. Holy f***ck. Isn't that human way too ferocious? To think that he would really go at it. At this moment, all the disciples of the cloud sect were startled. Without thinking any further, they hurried towards the heaven-raising peak immediately. Seemed like there was going to be a big show to watch today. This human was truly too ballsy. To think that he would even dare to go against the big senior brother. At this moment, all of the disciples within the heaven-raising peak were taken aback. They had just witnessed a single man blowing apart their mountain peak shield formation with absolute strength. By the looks of it, this man was definitely challenging their authority. How could they tolerate someone like this? Who dares to act so brazenly before the heaven-raising peak? A disciple with a respectable aura hollered out in rage. Lu Hen. Fang Weifeng. Get the hell out for your daddy here. Lin Fan yelled in rage. His voice was like a heavenly dragon's roar as the entire void exploded under the might of his sonic boom. Some of the disciples on the heaven-raising peak with a lower cultivation state started to puke out fresh blood as their faces turned pale. They couldn't endure a blow of this level. Lin Fan was floating in the sky above the heaven-raising peak right now, looking at everyone below in contempt. HMPH. This place has a golden glow to everything. You guys truly know how to live it up, eh? He scoffed in anger. Who are you? At this moment, some of the disciples rushed forth from the heaven-raising peak, each of them glaring at Lin Fan with a wary gaze. They could not understand how someone could have such guts to head over to the heaven-raising peak with such audacity. Get your f***-seeking piece of dog big senior brother out. Lin Fan blasted out. Who are you? Do you think that you can see our big senior brother just like that? A disciple challenged him harshly. HMPH. We'll see if he chooses to head out once I tear down the entire heaven-raising peak then. Lin Fan did not wish to talk any further as he struck out immediately. A gigantic palm that encompassed the entire heavens slapped out at this disciple. The palm strike was tremendous in strength, rendering one incapable of defending against it. Especially now that Lin Fan had entered a divine celestial level 4, undying state, his cultivation state was formidably unparalleled. It wasn't something that these ordinary disciples could hope to match against. Thud. Thud. These disciples were sent darting out across the sky like bullets, their faces filled with fright. They could not believe that this man before them could be this strong. At this moment, the big senior brother had brought some of the disciples out to the cloud sect's secret grounds. Bloody scum. Our big senior brother isn't around. If you dare to act so insolently, big senior brother will be sure to teach you a lesson once he's back. The disciples of the heaven-raising peak yelled at Lin Fan. This guy was acting way too impertinently. Looking at these disciples, Lin Fan snorted coldly, you guys are way too troublesome. But, it's good that he isn't around as well. Your daddy here shall tear down his entire mountain peak and wait for him to come back then. Lin Fan's aura toughened up as he kicked out with his leg. Instantly, the sky was filled with shadows of his leg as the true Origin's crushing kick erupted out everywhere. The moment the disciples caught sight of this scene in the sky, they were startled. They wanted to resist. However, they had no chance of fighting back against this skill at all. ARGHHHHHHHHHHH. In a jiffy, the entire sky was filled with tragic screams. To these disciples of the heaven-raising peak, this one single kick was way too vicious. The only thing they could feel right now was the most arduous pain known to anyone in this world. The throbbing pain in their nuggets was causing them to lose all hope in life. One by one, they clutched at their crotches and laid down on the floor uncontrollably while bawling out in pain. Those faces of theirs, which were in the pink of health initially, were now all ghastly pale, as bead-like sweat started to drip down from their foreheads. They glared at Lin Fan with an immense hatred. However, that could only last for a split second as they were overwhelmed by this immense pain in the next instant, causing them to be lost within the world of pain of their nuggets. The disciples who had arrived to spectate were gaping at this sight. To think that this human would be this quick to act. To think that he would take down all of the disciples of the heaven-raising peak in an instant, causing them to lose their fighting wills instantly. Wasn't this way too strong of him? That's right. Big senior brother Lu Han has headed to the secret grounds with the masses. There's no way he's going to be back this soon. If big senior brother were to head back and catch sight of this scene, he would definitely blow up. By then, this human would truly be in deep sh*t. Now that such a big affair is happening, why are the elders and grandmaster not here yet? I've got no idea. Let's just stay put and watch. But be mindful to never ever step in. This isn't an affair we can hope to interfere in, HMPH. What an extravagant lifestyle. These guys really know how to live it up, eh? To think that the beings of the thousands of races out there are enduring a lifetime of suffering while these guys are lapping it up in life right here. The only sh*t they know is bullying their comrades. How dare they provoke me as such time and again? On account of their fellow comrades, I decided to let them off with their lives. To think that they wouldn't know what's good for them. Do they truly take Lin Fan as seeking pushover? Lin Fan railed out in wrath. You tore down my house? I'll tear down your bloody seeking mountain peak in return. Lin Fan was going to make a stand today. He would have everyone know the consequences of messing with your daddy. Hey guys, check it out. What's that human trying to do? The moment the surrounding disciples caught sight of Lin Fan's actions, their faces turned pale in shock as they let out a look of disbelief. Lin Fan slapped out with a single palm and grabbed out at the main hall. A massive amount of energy surged out from his hand. Using that enormous amount of strength, he tugged hard and uprooted the entire main hall in a single grab. Bam, bam. The ground shook as the mountains shuddered. That majestic main hall was caught in Lin Fan's palm at this moment. Smelt, in the blink of an eye, the entire humongous main hall disappeared before the eyes of everyone present. At the same time, the lid of the heaven and earth smelt opened up and smelted the entire main hall. Ding, congratulations on smelting out trash metal, HMPH. A glided exterior, but it's all shabby and ruined on the inside. All of these are a bunch of trashes. Lin Fan tossed out that piece of trash metal. That massive heap of trash metal descended from the sky and was embedded deep into the grounds of the mountain peak. By now, everyone was utterly dumbfounded. To think that he would destroy Big Senior Brother's main hall, scary. This is way too scary. If Big Senior Brother were to head back and see this, he'd definitely explode for sure. Holy f***ck. Seems like there can only be one survivor between them this time around. The moment the disciples of the heaven-raising peak caught sight of this piece of trash metal, they started howling out. They wanted to scold this human. However, the pain at their crotches rendered them totally unable to do that. None. Lin Fan hollered out. That domineering might of his covered the sky and blanketed the earth. The moment everyone felt this aura pass by them, they shuddered in cold sweat. Amidst this might, they could feel and sense his endless fury. Chapter 610 Chapter 610, Little Fan. That's filled with imposingness. Translator, Lam_editor, Hitesh_ Grandmaster, are we really not going to intervene? In the depths of the void, Meng Hengtian looked at the Grandmaster and asked. Grandmaster Yun looked at everything before his very eyes. He was silent for a moment before shaking his head indifferently. No. No one is to step in. However, Lu Hen's cultivation state is way higher than his. If Lu Hen returns to see the state of his mountain peak, things might probably turn sticky, Meng Hengtian added on. He wasn't worried about Lu Hen. After all, Lu Hen's strength was clear to all of them. On the other hand, while this human's cultivation state was pretty strong, there was still quite a difference when compared to Lu Hen. Just watch and see how things go. The hope of the beings of the thousands of races, by right, there should be nothing that's able to stop him in his path. In terms of fortune, someone like him should definitely be mysterious and filled with a marvelous luck as well. Therefore, if you were to consider this man as the hope of the beings of the thousands of races, he would definitely be someone with an immense fortune to his name. There's no way he's going to die this easily, Grandmaster Yun replied. Grandmaster, could it be that you've… Meng Hengtian looked over at the Grandmaster in astonishment, evidently startled. Grandmaster Yun shook his head while grinning. Hengtian, would you believe me if I were to claim that even if the both of us were to combine forces against him, we might not be able to kill him? Most likely, he'd be able to escape from our grasp. Not only that, the both of us would definitely die by his hands in the future because of it. Grandmaster, how is that possible? Even though he may be pretty strong, if the both of us were to combine our strength, he would be nothing but an ant before us. At this point, Meng Hengtian doubted these words. How could something like that be possible? He knew of the Grandmaster's cultivation state. Even if it were a sovereign king of the ancient race, they wouldn't be a match for their Grandmaster. Therefore, how could a human that was still in his growth stages possibly escape from the palms of the Grandmaster? Let alone if the both of them were to join forces together. Alright, let's just watch and see. You'll know what I mean in the days to come, Grandmaster Yun replied. At this moment, something was happening at the scene. Guys, take a look. That human's going to destroy big senior brother Lu Hen's armory. Since Lin Fan said that he was going to take down the entire heaven-raising peak, he wasn't going to leave even a single structure in this place. Stretching out his palm, he grabbed out at everything. There was nothing that could escape his grasp. Boom. Beside the main hall, there was a structure that was protected by a strong shield formation. However, that shield formation was disintegrated by a single strike of Lin Fan. It provided zero resistance. That's the armory of the big senior brother. There should be countless spirit weapons inside. Perhaps even Dao weapons. This human truly won't rest till he's dead. If he were to destroy the armory, big senior brother would surely go into a frenzy once he's back. Lin Fan had not expected there to be these many spirit weapons within this armory. There were probably a couple of hundreds within them. Seemed like this big senior brother possessed a rather substantial core to his powers. But then again, this should be about right. After all, the Cloud sect had managed to subjugate quite a number of weaponsmiths to craft weapons for them tirelessly day and night. Even though their efficiency wasn't that high, they would still be able to craft out spirit weapons regardless. And, as the big senior brother, Lu Hen naturally had no lack of materials. However, to Lin Fan's surprise, there was even a lower-graded Dao weapon within the armory. Even though it was only a lower-graded Dao weapon, one would have to remember that most beings of the thousands of races did not even have access to a single spirit weapon, let alone a Dao weapon. HMPH. Since this is the case, I'll devour all of them then. Lin Fan's 5 fingers began to move, and he instantly crushed the entire structure. With that, all of the spirit and Dao weapons within began to float into the sky, gleaming with a mystical glow. The moment the surrounding disciples caught sight of these weapons, their eyes were filled with greed. However, they understood that this was only a temporary situation right now. Once the big senior brother were to return, things would definitely change. Swallow, Lin Fan's chi was tremendous. Opening his mouth, the currents of the air reversed as the few hundreds of spirit weapons and that single Dao weapon was sucked within his paradise. Bang! Bang! Instantly, these spirit weapons exploded into a stream of pure energy that surged into the paradise. The big ancient demon was excited beyond words. Opening his mouth, he began to take in a share of this pie as well. As for those disciples who were clutching at their crutches right now, they could feel their entire guts rupturing over this scene before them. To think that this human would have the audacity to destroy their armory as well. This was the core of the heaven-raising peak. Without these spirit weapons, what were they to do in the future? Within the Cloud sect's secret grounds. Bravo, big senior brother. Bravo. To think that this little scum would be slapped to death by a single strike of our big senior brother. Fang Weifeng's slicking skills were number 1 in this entire world. As such, Lu Hen was pretty satisfied as well. Therefore, he brought Fang Weifeng with him along to this expedition of the secret grounds this time around. In order to buy over the hearts of the disciples, Lu Hen would form groups to enter the secret grounds from time to time, so that the disciples could grind some monsters and whack some bosses. For someone like Lu Hen, secret grounds like this no longer provided him with any benefits. But for these disciples, these places were akin to treasures grounds. Naturally, they were unusually excited that they were able to follow their big senior brother in. Therefore, it was needless to say that Fang Weifeng was naturally excited beyond words. Now that he was here with his big senior brother, the benefits were endless. If he were to be here alone, he would have to exert a huge amount of effort in order to obtain all these benefits. However, following the big senior brother, all he had to do was loot the drops easily. Where else would he head to enjoy days as such? Yes. All of you should just follow me obediently. I'll ensure that you guys won't ever lose out on stuff, Lu Hen replied indifferently. For Lu Hen, this secret ground expedition was extremely easy. He could annihilate everything before his face with the lift of his hand, without any bit of difficulty at all. Big senior brother. Fang Weifeng is willing to follow you for the rest of my life, Fang Weifeng replied eagerly. We too. With our big senior brother around, all of these secret grounds are nothing but our backyards. We can just come and go as and when we like. It wouldn't be as difficult as the past at all. All of those masses who were following their big senior brother clamored in glee. To them, these were simply the days of pleasure. With their big senior brother paving the way for them, they would only be obtaining more treasures in the days to come. Stuff like this was known to the Grand Master from the very beginning. However, he did not say anything much about it at all. How could disciples like these, who only wanted to leech, grow up mentally? Even if they faced the ancient race beings, they would be nothing but paper. But, it was a pity that this was already the culture right now. Even if he wanted to step it, it was all too late. Just at this moment, Lu Hen's spirit jerked for a moment. Suddenly, his face changed entirely. That indifferent face of his was replaced with endless fury. B***stard. I swear that I won't stay alive if I don't kill you. I'll absolutely kill you no matter what. Fang Weifeng and the others were absolutely befuddled over the changes in their big senior brother's attitude. They could not understand just what was happening right now. Big senior brother, what's wrong? Fang Weifeng asked hurriedly. All of you, follow me back. Lu Hen tossed his robes and caged Fang Weifeng and the others with him. Instantly, he vanished from the spot. Damned human. How dare you wreck my heaven-raising peak? Even if you're a guest that's invited by Elder Yunhe, I'll have your F***king body rest in the cloud sect forever. The moment the Dao weapon was destroyed, Lu Hen knew of what was going on. He swore that he'd never rest until he got his hands on this F***seeking human.